26. So, on to the potential bad news. Big Ten commissioner and former Ohio State hero, Tony Petitti, has been talking with other commissioners about, you guessed it, expanding the playoff. The 12-team playoff. The one that we haven't played yet, even once. He's been discussing going to 16 or 18 teams with auto bids for conferences. Of course, we all knew eventually that they would try to push this. But let me tell you, if you had, before they even start the first one, that they would try to expand it, then you're better than me at predicting things, because I think this is absolutely horrible. We love a sport that most good teams play a regular season of 3 to 5 truly competitive games. Watching a big regular season upset used to be like just below Buckeyes win for level excitement for me. Because let's face it, Bucks play a schedule where it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to win, all but 3 or 4 games out of a 12-game regular season. So upset watching was incredibly fun. A playoff adds a little insurance that the best team in the sport won't be knocked out of contention for one bad day, which, okay, Lord knows we Buckeye fans are familiar with having the best team in the country sitting at home during the championship because we had one bad day to a Michigan State or a Purdue. So the expansion was good to keep that from happening. But that could have been accomplished going to 6 or 8 teams in the playoff. They chose 12. Now, 12, you can have 2 bad days. I'm not crazy about that. But the playoff is so exciting. Don't get me wrong, I'm thrilled for the playoff. It's so exciting that the give and take there I can deal with. But 18 teams? Here's a hypothetical. Purely hypothetical. Michigan, let's say they come off a national championship winning season. In the following year, they play Texas, USC, Oregon, Washington, and Ohio State. So they got 5 big games, right? They beat Texas and Oregon, and they lose to Washington, SC, and Ohio State. So they're 2-3 in their competitive games. With 2 big wins, the regular season 9-3. In an 18-team playoff field, that 3-loss Michigan team, a team that went 2-3 in their 5 toughest games, is now in the playoff with an opportunity to win a championship. Now you've crossed over the line to me. This no longer balances out with regular season mattering and playoff is a lot of fun. A 9-3 team. Let's take the Buckeyes schedule next year. Buckeyes got 3 big games next year, right? Oregon, Penn State, and Michigan. In an 18-team playoff format, they could lose all 3 of those games and still get into the playoffs. If that was the format this year, LSU, 3 losses, Notre Dame with 3 losses, and NC State with 3 losses. They were all inside that 18 ranking. So we're talking Notre Dame, they're a pretty good team, right? They had a tough break there in the scheduling and a tough stretch. They had Ohio State, Duke, and Louisville in consecutive weeks. But that LSU defense was so bad it was actually comical to watch. And that NC State team, I caught them a couple times this year. They were as mid as they always are in the ACC. Those are playoff teams in an 18-team format. When these type of regular seasons, 9-3 regular seasons, and those caliber of teams are getting rewarded with a playoff berth, then we've just become a mini NFL. And the regular season meaning anything is just totally over. I hate the way this is trending. I think this is heading to disaster. But my hope is there's enough pushback at least to keep this at bay as long as possible. But of course there's no stopping them. Every added playoff game and every added conference member in those playoffs represents a ridiculous amount of money. $7.8 billion to be exact. And if they're already talking about expanding it again, before we even played a single version of the playoffs now, where does it stop? I'd love to hear what your perfect number is. But please, if it's 24, just don't write it in the comments. I don't even want to see it. It'll give me anxiety, and I read all your comments, even the really mean ones. I had a few of those today. The show's grown a little, and it was really exciting to see that, but then I realized that I'm also going to get called fat, ugly, stupid, big eyes, and small head. it wasn't so exciting anymore. So about that regular season,